Hey, I'm Summer.
And I'm Mike.
And we got married.
With children.
We're married 2 years now.
Blended for 11.
Like a margarita.
Yeah, baby, like a margarita.
And you're listening to the Everything Always podcast.
Want to tell them why we do this?
We do this because blending families isn't easy. There's step-parenting, co-parenting, his ex,
Her ex.
schedules, sibling rivalry,
Money issues.
custody issues.
Dating and relationship issues.
It's a whole lot of stuff.
Blended with a whole lot of good stuff.
And we're here to talk about all of it because we've done most of it.
We might not be experts, but we've learned a lot.
And we're still learning, and we want to share that with you.
Thanks for joining. Now let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to another Everything Always podcast. Before I begin, I'm just going to tell you right now, I can't promise you there's not going to be some background noises. There's kids playing music, doing all of their fun stuff this late afternoon after they've done their homeschooling. So just throwing it out there. I thought I'd asked them to stop, but then I thought, you know what? Let them do it. You guys can hear the background noise. So today we're talking about how to deal when your partner's ex is toxic. So you're in the situation of the marriage being over, the divorce is final, but because there are kids, there's no escape and you're still going to deal with this person. And look, if the world were perfect, well, first, we wouldn't be dealing with such division and chaos in our world that we are today, would we? But if it were really, really perfect, we'd never have to deal with our spouse's exes, let alone our own. If you're happy to have your ex still in your life or his or her ex in your life, then this episode is probably not for you. But listen, if you want to, I'm specifically talking to those who are experiencing difficult with their partner's ex. So while you wish the past would just stay in the past, if there are kids involved, alimony, shared pets, maybe even shared properties or investments, you're likely to be stuck for a while dealing with this person. Now, there are people who have amicable breakups, and it's really a matter of, hey, we're better off as friends than we are romantic partners, and we're going to co-parent together, and it's going to be great, which is amazing for the kids. It makes things a heck of a lot easier. There's actually even those who've had a bad, bitter breakup, and they still manage to put that aside and stay friends and be mature. It totally happens. And I absolutely salute those who have done that, who have really been able to put those little differences aside and realize it ain't that deep, that we might have different parenting views, or that you have different bedtimes at your house, or that I feel like I do more than you do. Whatever those things are, they just realize it's not worth fighting over. And those that can really communicate with respect and maturity, put the ego aside when it comes to the kids, that's awesome. That's the dream, right? But honestly, more often than not, that's not the case, which is why we do this podcast, because it's not just what we've experienced in our lives, but what we see happening. I mean, there's a lot of divorced families out there, and unfortunately, these are the side effects. So back to when it's your own ex that is causing friction and how it affects your relationship. It's really uncomfortable, right? When it's your own ex. As much as it is irritating to deal with, you have the ability to handle it yourself. But when you've got your current partner's ex that starts bringing in another level of friction, it can get really icky fast, especially if that person is showing toxic behaviors, just really kind of roller coaster, spiraling out of control, anger, abusive text messages, things like that. It really gets worse. And why am I talking about this? Well, I've been asking on all of our platforms what it is that you want to hear, our listeners and people on social media and in our emails. What is it that you want to hear more of? And the private messages that we are getting really are so similar. And while there's like a whole long list of things that blended families go through, there's the ones that keep popping up the most. And so many of you are saying that you need more information and tools on how to handle your spouse's ex. And you're asking about, what to do with your co-parent because you have such huge disagreements in parenting styles and it's high conflict and you just feel frustrated. And then a lot of you are wondering how you cannot let these type issues affect your relationship with your partners right now. And I hear you so loud. I get it. A lot of it we've gone through, some of it we're still going through, and it's not fun. And we get it. I can speak on behalf of Mike, we so get it. And so today I really wanted to focus on how to deal with your partner's ex when they are difficult and causing drama, and how you can support your spouse through it and not let that negativity infiltrate your relationship. Much of what Mike and I have talked about with boundaries on past episodes will be super helpful here, and I'll touch on that. But I'm going to add to that today because, you've asked for it. So I'm adding to it, and I'm going to talk more about that. When it's your ex, you feel a bit more in control because you're the one responding, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to respond to this person. When it's your partner's ex and they get something that's, whether it's a text message or it's some type of drama, or perhaps it's court papers or it's an attack or something's going on, you feel out of control. And why? Because when they're being a nightmare, it causes you to feel like your life is a nightmare as well. And there's only some things that you can do if it's really, really bad in terms of taking legal action. If there's actual abusive behavior going on, there's certain things, and we've talked about this, especially when it comes to high conflict co-parenting, there's certain apps and ways that you can communicate with each other so that you can avoid that. You can get them court ordered. So check that out on our other episodes. But let's say that you're not going that route. What are some things that you can do for yourself so that you can cope with this? So I've got a list of things that really have proven to be helpful in our experience and in the experience of other families that we know. First thing is, don't fuel the fire. When your partner's ex is making your love of your life, when your partner is making that person's life hell, your instinct is to jump in and respond yourself. You want to defend him or her and respond. But all that really does is give the ex more attention. And the reason they're creating the hell, which looks like name calling, blaming, judgment, sometimes it's even, some of you have said it's in the form of flirting or probing or doing inappropriate things. All of those things, remember, are for attention. And so by you jumping in and fueling that fire, it's giving that person more attention. Remember, you can't control someone else's action. You can only control your own actions. Plus, it's actually just a sheer waste of your energy to jump in. So instead, when you feel all fired up and you want to respond and you're like, I'm going to freaking call him or her, instead, take the deep breaths. I happen to take 10. That's the amount. That was something I learned and it works. And then shift your focus. And sometimes it's as simple as, hey, bad thoughts, bad energy that's happening right now, and anger and this and that. I don't really have time to chat right now, so I got to run. Got to get off this negative call with you right now. Just kind of talk to yourself that way and then just shift the focus. The next thing is remembering to make your relationship the priority. The relationship with your partner needs to be the priority. That is like the most important thing. It's true that when there is an ex that keeps trying to knock down the front door to your fortress that you've built with your partner and that you've built for your family, it makes the piece of that much harder to maintain. So you have to work harder at building the foundation to your relationship so that it can withstand these storms that are going to come. And more than ever, you need your relationship to be strong and healthy when you're dealing with something like this. In a way, I see it as a silver lining because doing that work and making your relationship so strong on a foundation that won't crack actually turns out to be a really big win for you. And then hindsight is you look back and you thank the ex. You actually thank your partner's ex for that gift because it allowed you to create this stronger bond between the two of you. And I love when I see that happen with relationships.
Hey guys, guess what? We have a new website where you can see all of our podcasts and get easy access to the show notes, everything we talk about on the episodes, and you can even listen to the podcast directly from the site. You can contact us through the site and share your thoughts and questions. Check it out at www.everythingalways.co. That's www.everythingalways.co.
And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Everything Always Co. We just set it up and we'll be sure to put important announcements there.
And we love that this podcast has been so helpful to so many, and our hope is to share it with even more. So can you help us? Will you take a moment now or after the episode to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, and share it? It would mean the world to us, and it helps us to keep bringing you the best content.
Come on, we appreciate you guys. So what do you say, baby? Back to the episode?
Back to the episode.
Also, in keeping the relationship the priorities, we're big believers in date night. We've talked about this so many times. Even if it means sacrificing a night that you have with the kids, it's okay. You've got to make it happen. You've got to schedule it and commit to it. The ex might even make you feel guilty about doing that when you've got the kids, but we say don't feel guilty because the strength of your relationship is so incredibly important to your family. And it's a great example to show the kids as well of what a healthy relationship looks like and how you make yourselves a priority. And when you're on these dates that are all about you and supposed to be about you, don't talk about the ex. Like no talk of the ex or past icky stuff is allowed because all that does is stir up bad feelings. This is the time to be just the two of you, to hold hands, to flirt, be the couple that is so in love with each other and keeps falling in love with each other. And I'm telling you, make sure that you're getting these date nights in. Like really make sure you're getting them in. Make sure you're getting your bedroom time on too. Not to get all like personal into that stuff, but seriously, make sure you're getting it in. You should be wanting to get it in. It's healthy. It's awesome. It keeps you connected. Keep the love alive. And this is how that bulletproof fortress is built, by staying connected. And what you'll start to see very quickly by making this a priority is that the more drama that gets poked at you or your partner, the less it's going to bug you and the less it bugs your partner because you both know it's not a threat to you both, and your partner's seeing that you don't feel that it's a threat to your relationship. And it starts to become this thing that you'll deal with. It's annoying, but it's not as heightened as it once was. And you just find yourself coping with it so much better. Next, of course, I'm going to say boundaries. I wouldn't be me if I didn't bring up my favorite blended family tool. But here's the thing. If you feel like your issue that your partner's ex consistently ignites fires right when you were having a great day. Like if you feel like it's your issue, even though it is an issue that you have, it's not necessarily your war to fight, even though it's an issue that you're dealing with. It's something that your partner is having to deal with, their ex. Your partner needs to speak up and handle it and can absolutely consult you for your advice. That's what a relationship is about, right? To talk about these things. And sometimes there are things that you have to deal with together. But as much as you want to text that ex and give your peace of mind, don't. So that's a big boundary right there. Keep your grace and your integrity and stay away. You don't need to do that. And I'm sure there are situations that you deem it necessary. And I won't even begin to argue with you there because I don't know what that situation is. But my advice would be as best you can to keep your boundary, which is staying out of it. Keep that line. You're not going to interfere. Trust that your significant other can maintain the proper boundaries that you both have agreed on. And here's the thing. You may already be painted as the bad guy if you are the new spouse, the new wife, the new husband, the new partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that is, your partner, certainly if there's this drama going on, your partner certainly is already painted as the bad guy. So why add to that with you now coming in? Just if you can just continue to be on the same page with your partner about what the boundaries are, that is gold. And it's another episode, and we've done it. We've talked about it. Being on the same page is critical. And only you two can create what those boundaries are. I've given suggestions in past episodes on what they could be, but some things you might be okay with and some things you might not be. And it will be different than what Mike and I have laid out. But if you've listened to the episode on boundaries, I do give examples, things like turning the phone on Do Not Disturb during date nights, or not allowing the ex to just walk into your home when they aren't invited, or simply not responding to things that aren't about the kids. If it's a mean text and it's personal and it's like daggers, then just don't respond to it. Don't engage. And those are just some examples of boundaries that you can place. Whatever those are for you both, though, just make sure that you agree to those, because if you don't have those and you don't agree to those, that would be a problem. And it's going to make it harder to cope with an ex that is bringing this toxic energy into your relationship. It's definitely going to be a bigger problem. So first piece of advice would be to do that ASAP and put those boundaries in place. It will be key into coping with these situations and also just keeping your relationship super strong. The next, get your vent on. And when I say this, I am saying this with caution, because I do not support smear campaigns, meaning telling anyone that you know that your ex or your partner's ex is awful, or posting it on social media, or telling his or her family how, what this person did, or bad mouthing to the kids. Like, please, it's immature, and you're setting a bad example for your children, and it's just bad energy. And especially if you live in the same community as your children, you're only giving yourself a bad name when you're spreading negative things and private situations and circumstances to a new parent or teacher or coach or mailman that you meet. Like, it's just not necessary to do that. And it doesn't really make you look that great. And I'm sure you've experienced that yourself when somebody else, is consistently gossiping about a friend. It's kind of, you kind of go, that's not such a great quality. But on the other hand, you do need to unload, because keeping it pent up inside can make you sick. And sometimes even venting it to your partner can be too much for him or her. I would actually suggest not to do that, because they're already dealing with enough, right? So for you to then be venting about the ex, they already know. They're dealing with it. They know. Knowing that it is upsetting you so much can actually create more drama. So really what you're looking for is safe friends that you can trust, who will let you blow off that steam, and preface it that you just need to get it out and that you would like to keep this private. And it's just something that you need to vent about because you've been sitting with it and it's upsetting. And hopefully we all have those trusted friends or family members who are mature and understand the reasoning behind the vent. You might even have a counselor or a therapist or someone that you can talk to as well. But just make sure that it is someone safe who's not going to be like, "Ooh, I got this gossip, I'm going to spread it to everyone." Somebody who will keep it private and is not going to judge you or your partner. And it's a tall order, I know, but there are good friends. If your friends are good friends, then that shouldn't be a problem. Next, support your partner. So here's what I can tell you is super stressful. If you're feeling stressed already about your ex, drumming up drama, your partner reacting and getting all heated up too isn't going to help. Now you have two people that are super upset and suddenly things got way worse. It would probably cause a fight between the two of you, even if it has nothing to do with you both. Careful with that. Instead, let your partner talk to you about it and share their feelings. Listen more than you offer up your own anger. Be supportive by letting him or her know that you're there for them no matter what, and that you have your love and your strength of your relationship to get through it. Just be there for them without the judgment. And the more that you can step back and listen instead of venting, the more openness you will get and the more problem solving you can do together. It really does allow your partner to feel comfortable about expressing more. And then you'll find that you do get to express more, but you're not going to be in this fiery place. You both can have a calm conversation about it. But in terms of really supporting your partner, try to be the calm for them because they're already upset about the issue. And finally, self-care. Whatever that looks like for you, it could be a massage, it could be a weekend getaway with friends, a round of golf, a bathtub for 5 hours, maybe it's binging on Netflix, whatever it is, do something that is just for you to enjoy. When we're tired and we're stressed and we're drained and we're doing so many things for everyone else, we get taxed and then we're not good to anyone. So be good to you so you can be good together. And if you can implement all of these things, coping with this type of what feels like a disruption in your life can be so much easier. And it's also a practice to keeping you calm for when these storms do arise. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Our goal is to bring you all kinds of value that will help you navigate these challenging waters of blending a family.
Reach out to us if there's something specific you want to hear.
And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.
And if you really like it, share it with someone you love.
Ooh, and be bold enough to share it with someone you don't.